Hey, my sweet viewers. Before we dive into today's video, I have a small, heartfelt request. If you're enjoying our content and want to be part of this amazing journey, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps us continue bringing you the best content possible. Thank you for being here now. Let's get started. I'm Millie Morgan, and this is the story of Nia, a teacher in my town in 1998. She was beautiful, well-educated, and respected by everyone. At 14, I attended her tutoring sessions at her house. Nia had a natural warmth that made everyone feel comfortable, but one day, everything changed. One evening, my father told me that Nia was sick, and I wouldn't be going to her for lessons anymore. His voice sounded off, like he was trying to avoid saying something. I didn't think much of it then, and figured it was just a cold. But something nagged at me, and a few days later, I decided to visit her house to check on her. When I got there, I saw a crowd of people, including 2 priests from the church. Nia's uncle stood at the door, pale and tense. As I approached, he stopped me from entering, telling me that it wasn't safe. From inside the house, I heard Nia screaming. It was her voice, but twisted, full of terror and rage. She was pleading for the priests to leave her alone. I tried to push past her uncle, but he held me back. "She's not herself anymore," he said in a low, trembling voice. 2 years later, Nia passed away. It wasn't until then that I learned the truth. Nia had been possessed by something dark, something ancient, a spirit the locals called a Vachuk. It was said to be a vile entity, a sexual predator of the spiritual realm. It had tormented Nia, controlling her body and mind, feeding off her in the most disturbing ways. The priests had tried to exorcise it, but they had failed. Nia, at only 26 years old, had been taken by this thing, her life cut short in the most horrifying way imaginable. But the horror didn't end there. A few weeks later, I saw her again. It was late in the evening, just before dusk. I was passing by her house, the one that had once been so lively and warm, but now stood cold and empty. As I walked by, I noticed something in the backyard. At first I thought it was a trick of the light, but then I saw her Nia. She was standing there, just behind the house, by the old oak tree where she used to sit and read. But this wasn't the Nia I remembered. She looked sick, her skin pale, and her eyes sunken. She was wearing the same dress she always wore when she tutored me. The blue one, with white flowers, but it was torn and dirty, hanging loosely off her frail frame. Her hair was matted, her face drawn and empty. I froze. I wanted to run, but my legs felt heavy, like I was rooted to the spot. Then she began to move toward me, her steps slow and unnatural, like her body wasn't fully her own. Her eyes locked onto mine, and for a moment I saw something there, something pleading, desperate, like she was trapped. That was all I needed to snap out of it. I turned and ran, sprinting all the way home. When I got there, I burst through the door, breathless and terrified, and told my father everything. He listened quietly, his face lined with sadness. "She didn't mean to hurt anyone, Millie," he said softly. "She's just not at peace." Nia didn't harm me that night, but I couldn't shake the image of her. She had been only 26, with so much life ahead of her, and now she was trapped in death, still wandering, still lost. I felt an overwhelming sadness for her. The other people in the colony saw her too, wandering the streets late at night, still in that same dress, still looking as though she was searching for something, or someone, to save her. But no one ever could. I never went back to Nia's house, but even now, when I walk by, I feel her presence. It's like a shadow that follows me, a cold reminder of what happened. Nia is gone, but her story lingers, haunting the town, a reminder that some spirits never truly leave.